Hello everybody, I know it's been a long time since I put a video out on the bus, but I have been working on the bus because there's nothing greater than working on the bus. Anyway, so I've got my cabinet work almost completely done, with the exception of just a few things. I'm working on my television cabinet here, but that'll be done pretty quick. And so that's what this video is going to be about today. Plus, I wanted to show off my shirt that my kids got me, if you can see that, being a bus driver. Anyway, got me that for Christmas. A lot of fun. So anyway, we'll see how that video goes, and it'll be kind of a long one. I've got a lot of footage there, and but I've edited quite a bit of it out just for the sake of time, and so hopefully everybody enjoy it. Thanks for watching, everybody. It's been pretty cold outside, so as you can see, we've got a lot of snow. It's actually raining right now, and it was we've had some freezing weather out here, and it's been kind of getting down to like 5 degrees, 10 degrees, that kind of thing, even during the day. And matter of fact, one day I came out here and there just weren't any degrees at all, so it was kind of a weird thing. Anyway, so it's really cold out, and it's just been too cold to work on the bus. I've got my heat pump going, which says, I don't know if you can see it or not with the way it flashes in the video, but 62 degrees, that's as low as it goes. I don't like to keep it too warm in here. I kept it up to 68 degrees for about a month, when it was getting down to like 20 degrees at night and stuff like that. And my bill was about 80 bucks for that, and which I didn't think was too awful bad. And the heat pump keeps up pretty well, but when it gets down to, you know, like 5-10 degrees out, I just shut it off, because it goes into defrost mode like every 15 minutes and that kind of thing. And I just don't know how efficient it is when it starts getting that cold. Matter of fact, I'm surprised it works at all when it gets that cold. But so I've been just running a little electric heater in here for when I'm not working on it. I just like to keep the temperature up just a little bit, that way I can just come right in and start working on it, and it's already kind of ready to go. So I decided to show some progress, what I've been doing in here, with it being so cold, and then also doing the parade thing. There was about 2 or 3 weeks that I didn't really work on the bus. I was putting Christmas lights on it, and then I had it all ready for the parade, and so I didn't want to drag all my tools back in here, but all that's kind of over now. Now it's just after Christmas. Actually, it's the 26th. Today, December 26th, and Christmas is pretty much done. So looking forward to the new year. But anyway, I just thought I'd show some progress what I'm doing at the front here. So I'm working on these cabinets, these upper cabinets up above here. And so what I'm going to have it so I have a small television here. So I've got some 110 volt stuff going on here. And in this front, I'm going to just kind of leave it the way it is, except I'll put a screen set up across here that makes it look better there, and for the heat pump. And this all is in really pretty nice shape, except here I kind of scratched it up, not knowing that I was going to keep it or whatever, but I can polish that out or whatever. And as far as I'm concerned, this gray front is just fine. So I've got these upper cabinets built on this side, and actually I'm going to rearrange this just a little bit. What I've kind of started to do was to put these dividers in here, and the dividers I've kind of, even though I built them to be pretty tight to the ceiling and to the bottom, I really don't have to if I use these aluminum angle pieces that I'm making here, because then you can have it, you know, it can be up to 1/4 of an inch off or whatever, and it doesn't have to be that tight, and then it makes for a really strong divider and support for the shelf. So, but I'm gonna probably move this one down a few inches. So I have a 32-inch door here, a 32-inch door here, 32-inch door here, and I believe, let's see, 1, 2. I believe I'll have 4 32-inch doors going across here that'll swing up, and just for stuff. I mean, I don't plan on putting a lot of really big heavy stuff up there. But it just kind of squares off the corner here and stuff, and I think it makes it look pretty good. And then with the furnishings the way they are, you know, you're going to be standing up and you're not going to be hitting your head on this stuff. It's going to be out of the way. And so this side here, I'm still working on it. I just got this piece in here yesterday, and I had to, you know, cut it to fit up in here and stuff, and I'll have to trim that out along there. Anyway, and some of this just kind of mocked up right now. I use this big long piece of Schluter metal for just kind of getting things kind of straight. I've got this propped up here. So when you eyeball this down, this whole front edge is super straight, so I can put my wood on it as it's hanging. And then I have yet to put the piece on the top like I have over here. And the way this works out, it's about 12 and 3/16 inches or so in between here all the way down. So my doors will all be about 12 inches tall, and then you've got the piano hinge on the top. So that way I can get, you know, quite a few doors out of a sheet of plywood, because the birch plywood and stuff like that comes in about 49 inch by 97 inch sheets. So you've got that little extra bit, so you can actually get 4 12-inch pieces out of it. And this maple veneer plywood here that I've kind of started with, so I need to sort of keep going with it. But this stuff here is $175 a sheet. It's absolutely crazy. I just bought another sheet the other day, and I had to order it. And the way this is going, I'm probably gonna have to buy at least one more piece. The doors will be birch veneer plywood, just like the rest of the cabinets, of course. And I'll go ahead and put that really dark oak stuff in there as well. And then when I get down here, this dining area here, this I took it back about 5 inches or so here. So actually it's a 6-inch shelf in here. And I took it back to that depth up to 25 inches from the edge of the table. So over 25 inches is where this narrower part starts. And then it continues for 25 inches past until it hits the refrigerator. Because when you're sitting down here and you stand up, you're going to be hitting your head on this stuff. This is just here temporary. Anyway, so I made it kind of shallow, and I don't know what I'm going to do with the space yet. You know, a guy could still put spices or something like that up in there, or coffee cups or something. And anyway, so that's what I've got going here. Then I'm eventually going to also build another countertop here that's going to come out, be about 30 inches wide and 24 inches out for the microwave and maybe the coffee pot, stuff like that. And that'll be across from this peninsula here. And then here I'll have room for a small computer desk that'll actually come out and back to here. And that'll be next to the couch that'll go from here down. And then the TV will be on this side. The TV will be inside this cabinet that I'm going to build here that I've already got the laminate on that matches the rest of the kitchen. And anyway, so that's just kind of where I'm at. I don't know how much videotaping I'm going to do as I finish this, because it's probably going to take me another week or two to even finish these cabinets, and it's just spread out way too much time. So I'm just going to keep making videos and just kind of show the progress more than I am the actual building of it. So this piece here, this piece is going to go on the top up against the ceiling. And so I've got it cut with about an 8-degree angle on the top, and that way it matches the slope of the ceiling. And then I also have the pieces as they butt into each other. I've got that cut at a 15-degree angle, just so that way if you just butt them together square, and then if you get a little tiny gap or something, you can see right through it. The idea here is that when you're looking straight onto it, you won't see any space between, even if there is a slight gap. Of course, you still want to get it as tight as you can. So I did the same thing over here. I've got the piece screwed to the ceiling. Also, I've got holes. I drilled holes part way in for the heads of the screws to go up inside, and then I've got it pre-drilled all the way through. So this will actually screw to the ceiling. So when I screw it to the ceiling, I'll make sure it's straight, you know, as I'm going. And but before I do that, I'll go ahead and make another one of these end pieces down here, and I'll put it somewhere at some point along here, or I'll just mark the ceiling or whatever, so that I can make sure that I'm maintaining a flat front here, so the doors all line up properly. Again, there's just nothing square in the bus. Matter of fact, I've got these brackets under here, temporary, just to kind of hold the shelf up until I get it all fastened in. But the wall is actually angled. It's kind of rounded actually, and so you can't rely on that. So you got to put little shims in here and stuff like that. I've got this little piece here kind of holding it straight. So as I look down here, I've got it pretty straight down the profile there, as you can see. And as I attach the bottom piece on, which is this one, I'll make sure that it's straight as it goes down. So anyway, so we'll see how that goes. So I've got this piece kind of sitting in here. I've got the front edge flush with the plywood bottom here, shelf. And I've got this edge here pretty much on my mark up here at the ceiling. And as I look down here, I can see that it's pretty close, but not quite there. It needs to come back this way just a tiny bit, which tells me that anyway, I mean, it just tells me that that this mark here isn't going to be exactly where it needs to be. So I'll just move it back a little bit, put a new mark, and then translate those planes across the front here all the way down, so that that'll determine the rest of the shelf. So comes down to it, this is not the strongest way to go with this type of a screw system, but it's a matter of repeating the number of screws. So the more screws you put in, the stronger it'll be. And being that I'm going to add the aluminum angle pieces to this as well, I'm not too concerned about it. But this will hold it nicely in place, and then eventually I'll just go through and just put all the aluminum in all at once I get everything up before I put the doors on. Also, one thing that's nice about putting all this OSB or plywood, whatever you use on the walls, there's no wiring in these walls anywhere. So I can run screws into the walls all I want, don't have to worry about hitting anything. Also on these Kreg jig screws setup, the screws that they sell you with Kreg jig, the Kreg jig screws, are actually better because they have more of a square head with the screw length, and where the screws I'm using are just your typical drywall shaped screws, drywall type screws that have the bugle head, so it doesn't quite stop as nicely, so you got to be a little more careful, but that's what I'm using. Pretty solid. Now that I've shaved off a bunch of this foam, now I'm gonna have to clean up this mess. Okay, so as this project moves along here with all these shelves up here, I ran out of this plywood here that I've been building these dividers out of. Not just the dividers, but the shelves and everything else for that matter. So I needed to get some more plywood, but this stuff here is $175 a sheet. Maybe I mentioned that already. So I'm just going to use some regular 3/4 inch plywood for my last 2 or 3. Actually, I need to add one over here. So it's no big deal. It's inside the cabinet. I'm not that concerned about it. But in the progress of building all this stuff here, and then trying to incorporate this door into this project, and then also wanting to have the dining room table centered in between whatever I have going here. I like things to be symmetrical. So I ended up, as I'm building this shelf, and I get down to this point, and then I have to start figuring out what I'm gonna do with this door. So what I'm doing here is I'm building this cabinet here that basically will be removable. So the shelf will be permanent. The cabinet will fit up under the shelf, so that if I ever have to get something large into the bus, I can just take this cabinet, set it aside. Of course, I'll have it, you know, fastened in with screws or something. So I can set it aside, get my big stuff in the door, close the door back up, put the cabinet back in place, and no big deal. Of course, with that, I'm dealing with the slides and, you know, the hardware up here. That'll all be buried inside the upper cabinet here, but I thought I'd go ahead and build this cabinet here. So this top here, I made this top here a while back for something else in the bus that I kind of changed my mind on. So I've already got it built, and it matches the rest of the kitchen cabinets here. So what I'm doing is I'm going to build this cabinet. This will be just for the microwave and whatever else, but mostly for a place for the microwave. I didn't want to put the microwave over the stove or over the sink or any of that because of the curvature of the ceiling. Anyway, it would just make it stick out so far, and you'd be hitting your head on it, you know, as you're just doing stuff here. I wanted these cabinets to be just kind of a standard depth. I didn't want anything sticking out real far. So with that being said, now I need a place for the microwave. So I'm going to go ahead and wire in my outlet up in the top here. So the outlet itself will be permanent inside this cabinet. Of course, the face of it will be up under here. And the microwave will just sit here and plug in. And then I'll have a couple of doors here that'll open and close. So there'll be just a little cabinet here. Maybe put coffee cups in it or something. Just a little, it'll just be a little cabinet over the top of the microwave. Then the microwave will just sit right on this countertop here, and it'll slide back up against the wall. So this top that I've already made, it's of course all this stuff's just sitting here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and cut it off here like so, here like so. Slide it back in as far as it'll go. It's only going to go back about 4 inches, so I'm going to have to build a piece for the last 4 inches from there to the wall, but that's okay because it'll be behind the microwave. Matter of fact, I already have a piece of this left over from when I cut the sink out here, so I've got that piece. I can just make a piece that'll fit on back here, butt up to it. It'll just have a seam there, and better to be at the back, and the microwave would just sit right on top of that shelf. It's getting a little bit compact, but I think I got a pretty good design going here. It's kind of the design is actually in my head, and I just hope I can get it from my head into the bust. So we'll see how that goes. Okay, so I'm hoping to finish up this video on doing this cabinet work. So far it's coming out pretty good. I've got my upper cabinets in here on both sides in the bust here, and just to kind of give some perspective here, I'll come down to where the refrigerator is, or where the bathroom starts. Just kind of give an overview here. So of course these kitchen cabinets here have already been done, uppers and lowers. Then I started again here and continued down, and same thing on this side. So a few things that I've done here is of course I put silicone on both sides of the piano hinges just to give them some, just so they don't vibrate loose, things like that. Piano hinge probably wouldn't anyway. Then as I was working on this, I never really paid attention to the grain of the wood of the birch veneer plywood, but after I got these doors up, I realized that if I swap this door with this door, then the grain of all three of these doors will be all contiguous from the plywood. So, and it blends pretty good in with this one. Over here is not so much the case. These are all just random. Some of them are upside down from the grain. I kind of wish I'd have paid more attention to that as I was putting it together. And but down here, above the dining room table, these three doors, or two doors and stationary part, just happened to be all from the same piece all the way across. At least the best I can tell. Yeah. Anyway, so if they're not, it's darn close. This may not be from this strip here. A little bit different there, but it's pretty close. It almost looks like it all came from one piece. So again, I wish I'd have planned on that. Now, one thing I've noticed here after I put all this other front cabinetry up is the plywood is different. So these are all birch veneer plywood, and I use the exact same finish, but this here has more of kind of a little bit of a gray to it and stuff. I haven't put my latches on this particular one yet. So for some reason, the brown is just a little different shade. So I really wish it all looked like this, like these newer ones. It's all fine, and I'm not concerned about it. But it's, you know, I bought all the birch veneer plywood at the same place, but it's been over the course of about 1.5 years. So I'd buy one sheet and then I'd buy another sheet later on, and so for some reason they must have gotten a different supplier. So, but it's all fine. I'm pretty excited about it. So I've got my stationary ends here. I've got all my latches in. I just did just the little catch latches here. I bought a whole bunch of them on Amazon, and I had just enough to do every single door. These are all done here. This one isn't done yet because this one may end up having the microwave stuck in here, so I'm not sure how this is going to happen just yet. But all these doors are all functioning. I've got an access hole there. This is my lamp that I'm thinking about installing here for over the table. I don't know if it goes this way or this way. Probably this way because the switch and stuff is there, but either way, it's going to mount something like that on this stationary part. And of course, I drilled a hole through there on both sides so that middle section is accessible. And I suppose a guy could store money or something in there. But anyway, so I've got all my doors have latches and handles now. So my linen closet here in the bathroom, I finally got my knob on it that matches the rest of the knobs in the bathroom here, and that closes real nice. And I finally put the knob on here that it closes nice. I went ahead and just put it the same height as the top one here, and then so it kind of makes a square. And of course I've got those I've had already. I recently installed these handles and latches. I put one at the top and one at the bottom because these doors are quite a bit larger, and they just really close nice and solid. And of course this one too, top and bottom latch. These two side doors here are also finished. I've just got one little latch on these, and those work just fine. They don't need much. They're not going to have a bunch of stuff, you know, flopping out as you're driving anyway. It's going to be clothing and stuff like that, and it'll stay in place no matter what. The two bottoms here are for dirty clothes. I'll probably line that with something just so they don't stink up the wood. And then I built these trays here so you can throw your keys and your glasses and stuff on there. And if you had a water bottle here, you'd have to put it up against the back or something if you're going to open and close the door. But anyway, that was kind of a little feature I just added. I had a ledge there anyway, and I took the Formica from the piece that where I cut out for the kitchen sink in the kitchen. I went ahead and just used that piece to make up these two trays on each side. And these come out pretty good. I still have to put some lining inside there and make it look nice on the inside. But for the most part, that's ready to go. So I'm pretty excited about the way all this is coming out. Again, it's still not completely finished. I've got this drawer out just because I'm doing some wiring and stuff. But I really like the way this cabinetry came out here. So, oh yeah, so here I've also got, I built this thing here, as you could see in the video, and I've got my drawer glides and everything installed there. And these drawers are absolutely enormous. They're almost 25 inches wide, and they're about 22 inches deep to the back. and then they're about 10.5, 11 inches deep vertically. So these will hold lots of pots and pans and stuff. And I didn't really design this to fit any particular item. I just built it. We can always modify them to fit different things, and that came out really well. It's all dirty yet, but microwave will be here, coffee maker and stuff here. I'll have an outlet up inside here, and anyway, so it's coming out pretty good. I'm pretty excited about it, and I've been working on this pretty much here in the winter time. I know I haven't created a video for quite a while. I've been doing a lot of this work in the evenings, and it's getting dark. You know, of course, it's dark in the evenings now, and but now the springtime's coming and snow's starting to melt, and so hopefully pretty soon we'll start getting some longer days, and I can concentrate on more things during the week and not just on the weekends. So anyway, so that's a video for finishing up these cabinets. I've got them all built except for my television cabinet that'll be right here where this chair is. That's the top. That cabinet I haven't built yet. Still got to figure out the design on that. And then at the back here, I'll probably have some cabinets in between the two side cabinets here at the bed. But I want to wait until I get my mattress and stuff, figure out how high it's going to be, how much I'm going to have. I'm going to have an upholstered headboard, and so I might have a little bit of room for some cabinetry at the top there. So anyway, so we'll see how that goes, and appreciate everybody watching the videos, and signing off again for probably another couple of weeks. So everybody take care of yourselves, and God bless.